This is a story of a man called Stanley. Stanley had a job at Hexagon Industries, and his job was making GARRY'S mod videos for YouTube. Stanley was happy making these videos, because he was free of doing everything he wanted. Stanley received information about something, and he made it into a Gmod parody video. But one day, something very particular happened. No info was deployed on Stanley's screen, so Stanley felt different, because he wasn't any more creative, and he didn't thought about anything. Stanley was boring. So Stanley decided to go to his boss's office to ask. Why didn't Stanley's boss give Stanley any ideas for the video? Why didn't the co-workers of Stanley show up? Why his name was Stanley? Why he could see his hands, but not his feet? And how did Stanley start to work in Hexagon's Industries? Maybe all this were just coincidences, but they might not. So Stanley decided to stand up and go to his boss's office. Wait, how do you know my name? I'm not supposed to speak in this game. Why, this is a parable? Isn't this a game? But, if this would be a game in a modification from an original game. Stanley Unparable inside GARRY'S mod inside a Half-Life 2 modification. This doesn't make any sense. But I'll think this is normal in this Unparable. Anyway, I don't think that I would go to my boss's office. I could live free. Why do I need to follow a narrator's indications? It is interesting. How do you make this to see weird? But, anyways, Stanley, I know that you don't know who I am, but... Oh, Stanley. Just do what I say. You're in my story, could you just be respectful to me? It took me a long time making this, so... Why we don't continue with the main story?
Anyways. Let's continue with this. Wait. How did my voice change?
In this game inside the game from a modification from a game that in fact is the original game, where I wrote the story, all I want will happen. Ooh! You didn't realize? Well. So, welcome to the Stanley's Unparable.
I'm surprised that you are the narrator. Why are you the narrator? Why do I follow orders from a voice from my head? Why do I need to draw that you ask me? Why do I really exist? Why is the game inside a game from the modification from a game that is a game this modification but is actually known as a game because it's full with stuff, but actually is a modification, because the origins from the game tells that is a modification from a game that in fact is the original game.
Listen Stanley, in this video, the one that will mindfuck you is me, not you to me. This is my story, so follow my orders. Listen carefully. Stanley went through the door on his left.
You are not going to get me alive. Oh no. Error.
Oh my god. Stanley. Are you okay? God. Now I need to restart the game. Why Stanley, you can't just follow orders. Okay, we're back again. Listen, Stanley went through the corridor to his boss's office. But once he realized there was nobody, because he was stupid, Stanley decided to wait his boss. But of course, Stanley was so unbearable that he just destroyed everything on the office. Although Stanley was imagining a lot of things, he took a nap to wait his boss.
Wait, what? Is this me? Get out. I'll sleep here.
And finally, Stanley's boss popped up. Mysteriously, Stanley's boss had a woman's voice.
Stanley, what do you think you're doing? Get up. You have to work.
This is a story of a man called Stanley. Stanley wasn't the best guy who followed orders. But Stanley was a good friend, a great partner, a good nightball. He was a man that the society loved, except Mangy. She always hated everyone. But anyways, Stanley spent his life working in an office, a boring, huge, and repetitive work. But Stanley was happy with that job, but his life ended, and this is the final decision of the Stanley's Unparable. Why did Stanley die from nothing? Why did this video had a reference to the Stanley's Parable? Why is this video in English if the one who makes the videos speak in Spanish, and all his videos are in Spanish? Why Stanley was smiling when he died? We'll never know. But, what we know is that Stanley was a good man. And that was the great idea Stanley had for a YouTube video, and he made it. Proud of himself, he said,
I hate my job.